Head over to miniaturemarket.com where they have thousands of board games at discounted prices like Oceans. Hello my friends, it's the Game Boy Geek here. Today we're diving underwater into the ocean and we're going to be living and breathing in a oceanic ecosystem. We're going to be having all sorts of different species that are feeding off each other and off of some waste and off of different reefs and very deep in the ocean. Today we're going to be taking a look at Oceans. Now this is a follow-up standalone sequel in sort of a similar universe to their most popular release called Evolution. This is a standalone game. I had a chance to play a full game, one of them, with the designer at PAX Unplugged, which I just got home from. And so this is going to be sort of just a quick overview. I didn't know I was going to have this session before I left, so I didn't have my camera and such, so I just took some pictures and things with my phone. So you're not going to have the normal studio production that you normally would, but I want to give you a chance to see what the game is about at a high level, and then tell you what I thought after my first play. So let's take a look. Oceans is a strategy game for 2 to 4 players where you're simulating an oceanic ecosystem. You're going to be eating fish, sometimes from the reef. And other times you'll be feeding from the different deeper ocean zones. Now the boards you place these fish on represent your species and you're trying to fill it up because as their species ages, those are going to be turned into points being placed behind your shield each round. And you're trying to have the most fish behind your shield at the end of the game. Turns are pretty simple. You're going to play a card, and that might bring out a new species, or you might be able to add it to a current species that you already have. Now these trait cards do different things, like this filter feeder. It allows you to forage for 5 food. And that will be placed from the reef or different areas onto your species board as shown here. Now because it's an ecosystem, different species are going to interact with others. So this species has the whale cleaner trait, and anytime another species forages for 3 more like we just saw, this one would gain 3 fish. So this could have been somebody else's that gains it on your turn, or you could have had another species that has this, so you might be building your own little engine as well. Now in this case we were foraging for fish out of the reef and different places in the ocean, but sometimes you'll have different traits that will allow you to attack others. After that you're going to be aging by taking a certain amount of fish from your species and putting it behind your shield for points. However, if you've aged too much and you cannot age the specific amount, then your species goes extinct. But on the other hand, if you fill up all the way with fish to the bottom there of that species board, you overpopulate, you end up losing different amount of fish. So you try to find that balance between being able to age but not overpopulating. And after you've played a card, fed a species, and aged all your species, you then discard any amount of cards and draw some new ones since the next player's turn. Now as you go on in the game, different things will trigger. And once you run out of fish in the first deep zone, in this case, fertile happens and new species always gain 2 food. Now these are different every game, it gives the game a lot of replayability. And as you get deeper into the ocean zones, like in a hospital environment, would have you age 1 more than usual, meaning you're gonna get more points, but you gotta be careful because you might end up going extinct from that. Now all those fish you see there are part of the timer for the clock. Once all those are gone, it's towards the end of the game. And as the game goes on, you'll be able to play these deep ocean powerful cards that allow you to do different things, like the Crushing Jaw ignores all defense when attacking. Or the Poisonous Spines, which forces all people that gain things from attacking to lose 3 population back to the reef. Now you can grab these cards earlier in the game, but they sort of clog up your hand because you can't use them until they're later in the game and you've gotten deeper into the ocean. So you're playing cards, building species, building little engines, building defense, possibly attacking others, maybe not. You're finding your strategy that interacts best with your species and all the other ones around the table to try to age the most, the best, and have the most fish at the end. All right, so after one play of this at PAX Unplugged, what did I think? Well, the art itself is beautiful and it draws you right in. I like the coloring. It looks like sort of that watercolor style thing. I know they had some alternate cards for their Evolution, their previous release, that had some of these, this look to it, and I really like that. So I like the art in this game. It really does draw you in. The game is very thematic. That they try to, and it does, simulate oceanic and ecosystems, where everything sort of works in conjunction with each other. So your species and your traits and other species and other traits, and how you might do this and it flows downhill to them, which flows to them, and this and that. And it all sort of works together And it's a very interesting way to thematically bring game mechanisms together, and I like that. It's very thematic. So if you like thematic gameplay, this is going to be one you're probably going to like. I like that you're not only interacting with your own species, like, hey, I put a character here, hey, it does something when the species to the right does this, right? And you can do that and set it up on your own, but you're also like putting it on the end and possibly interacting with species of other players. And that's really cool because it's not only looking at yourself, this is definitely not multiplayer solitaire, this is a very interactive game. And because of that, everyone's turns matter. Everything that somebody does could possibly affect somebody else. Someone's like, oh, I'm attacking this person. Oh, well, I get this. Oh, well, I'm going to go forage. Well, you know what? Then I get this. And certain things like that. So you're always paying attention to what everyone's doing, and it keeps everyone engaged on all the turns. I like that. I like that you could focus on either attacking others, or you could just focus on defending yourself and building your own engine. So if you don't want to be that attacking player, or you don't want to worry about being attacked, you could sort of like build yourself in. So for those Euro players that like the sort of solo solitaire, you can try to sort of build yourself your little thing. Now, they're probably not going to totally be able to be by yourself, but it will give you much more of that feeling, and I think that's cool. And for those of you that like to just mess around with each other and attack each other, this is it too. So it's cool because no matter what kind of player you are, I think this game can deliver an experience that you'll like. The unique deep ocean cards are really cool. You can't use them till later in the game, but you can get them earlier in the game to sort of plan, which really clogs your hand up because, you know, it's taking space and you can't use them. But you're planning for it later. It has some things that you're going to try to maybe lay down some species and traits that will help go in conjunction with that. So when that finally does, you know, when it triggers and you're able to play those cards, you can. And they're also very powerful. And a huge deck of unique cards is going to make each game feel a little different as well. I like that as the fish are taken, different things in the game activate. Like there's two different sort of abilities or events that happen when certain things run out, and those change each game. But as the game goes on, different things are going to be triggering. I like that. I like that when you're aging, it's basically getting your points, but it can also, if you age too much, you could extinct your species. And so you're sort of going for this balance between being able to age and get points, and not having too many, because if you overpopulate, then a lot of them are going to go away. And I've always liked that in games where you're not just trying to shoot for a small amount of something or a large amount of something, but you're trying to have balance. And I like that because it gives you this game, this push and pull tension. And you can force people to go over and make them overpopulate and things like that. So I liked that sort of, it was a very interesting part of the game. I like that you could sort of add fish back into the reef to little like reactivate abilities that you may have. Like, hey, I might have a trait that I can't be seen if there's fish in the reef, right? And then it's empty and people start attacking, but you can add them back with some of the cards in your hand, and then you're back to being, you know, unseen and things like that. That's a cool aspect of the game. Overall, I enjoyed it. I definitely liked it better than Evolution. I enjoyed Evolution, but I think this game is even better. It's deeper, has more to think about. Again, all the reasons that I talked about. I like this one better. It's going to be coming out pretty soon. I believe the Kickstarter is going to be delivering in January-ish, or I believe that's when it is. If there's anything I could say that someone might not like, is there's at least in your first play, there's going to be a lot of stuff to take in because you're learning all the 12 traits, which as you play the game over and over, you're going to know what those traits do really well. You're going to know what to look out for. But because there's so much interactions, it's really a lot to keep track of during your first game. But I know that subsequent, it wasn't too much even in your first game. Just you got to look at things. And then after the first games, it's going to keep going and going. So I'm looking forward to playing it more till I pretty much have all the things sort of memorized and it'll flow a lot faster. But it was a really enjoyable experience. And one I look forward to play a little bit more when it comes out, and that's Oceans by Northstar Games. This has been the Game Boy Geek, breaking down barriers, growing relationships through board games by helping you find the next one you'll love. Did you miss the Game Topper 2.0 Kickstarter? Have no fear, it's not too late to get in on the ultimate gaming accessory. Convert your table into a high-quality gaming table with a fully portable Game Topper system and take advantage of some of the best 3mm premium gaming mats in the industry. New styles, new sizes, and new accessories can be yours. Upgrade every game you play by late backing now at GameToppersLLC.com.